Welcome to the 2,000 subscribers. Renegade Rolls Ask Me Anything.
Yes!
With Kev! With Kev! With bonus Kev. And I asked a whole lot of folks for good questions, interesting things to ask me about, and we are going to answer them at a castle, because why not? This is Mugtuck Castle, which is fun to say, in Mulgai, also fun to say, in the north of Glasgow. So, question number one. The thing I really enjoy about making TTRPG stuff, so I think forever I've enjoyed making games, discussing games, talking about, is it Midgie here? This is not something I considered. I'm gonna speedrun this. So I really enjoy making games, I enjoy discussing games, I enjoy just thinking about different mechanics. It's almost the fun of baking a cake for people. It's that same kind of thing of going, ooh, I really hope folks enjoy this and notice this little detail that I've made. When it comes to making stuff for YouTube, the challenge I really have is just making things as clear as possible. Much as I love the sound of my own voice, I'm a good waffler, but that doesn't actually help with getting the point across to folks. So I really enjoy the challenge of being as direct and succinct as useful as I possibly can be. Is it too midgy here? Almost. Yeah, there's millions here, right. I tell you what we'll do. Right. I admit defeat. I've come inside. There are so many midges there. Holy moly. Much as I love Scotland, midges in the summertime, not a fan. But I've got company. Kev's gone, but Dominic's here. Hooray! Hooray for Dominic. Yay.
I've been promised curry.
He's going to get curry. It's going to be good. It's going to be tofu satay, I think. There's an Ask Me Anything question. What's the best curry? Tofu satay. Something that I've done for the channel that I didn't think I ever could. To be honest, absolutely everything. From the beginning of deciding to be a person who talks to a camera, decides to put something of myself like creatively out in the world like this, is something for a long time I thought, that's not for me, that's not really my thing, because I've never really done much performance in terms of like talking on a stage or much public speaking. But one of the reasons I started the channel in the first place was to get better at public speaking, to be able to speak to camera a bit better. And then it just morphed, it grew arms and legs and inevitable tentacles to become the sort of the role-playing channel that I very much enjoy. Specifically, something I never thought would happen. I had hopes and dreams of it. It was doing actual play. So when I first got into D&D, TTRPGs in general, I thought, oh, this would be so cool. Wouldn't it be great to be like Critical Role and Dimension 20 and especially High Rollers actually as well. I was watching a lot of their stuff in the few months leading up to starting the channel, and I thought, one day I'll do that. That'll be great, maybe, perhaps. But the challenge of making it happen, from going from me sitting in front of cameras relatively easy to organising, corralling a whole load of people to play a game together, is a lot of work, and it's something to have actually got campaign out in the world now. There's a lot of one-shots and things. To have that existing as something that people can watch is so cool. Something which I'd love to do, but I think is still a long way away. I'd love to actually take it on the road. I'd love to do a live show, like at panels, conventions and things. We're not famous enough yet, folks. We need to get more famous. But once that happens, doing a live game at a convention would be very fun. I'm up for running all sorts of stuff and having do it as a panel. Have a live game where we can play the game, cause nonsense, and probably do some improv as well, because me and my friends, I don't actually know how to stop these people doing improv. It just happens. It's very organic. It's very sweet. Hi, other Richard. So, favourite resolution mechanic. I am a really big fan of the way that Brindlewood Bay works, where it's very much a conversation between the GM and the players. So the idea in Brindlewood Bay of the day move and the night move and the meddling move, where you ask a player for the night move, what are you afraid will happen if this doesn't work? And letting the player's imagination run wild is so fun. It's very cool to see where players will go, and I might have an idea for something that might happen, but their idea might be chaotic and weird. And then the fun thing is I can say, no, it's worse than that. So if a player says, oh, I'm worried that if we fail to get over this wall, then I'll fall and break my hip. And I'll say, no, it's worse than that. If you fail to climb over this wall and you fall and break your hip, you'll be in the hospital and no one will come and visit you. And you can get as dark or mean as a GM as you like, but it's a very fun way of yes-anding each other, building on the creativity and just seeing how far it'll go. Skills or no skills? I like something in, where is it? Cipher System over here, which gives you the base character and then individual stuff that they're good at. So rather than say like the D&D standard of we've got the whole list of everything you can potentially do, something that Cipher System does is it says, well, you can do everything badly, but here are the 2 or 3 things which you really excel at. There's lots of different systems with lots of different ways of presenting that, but I really like the idea of, everyone can do everything badly, but some folks are specialists in different things. And I think that's a very fun way of making every character feel unique. If skills, how many? 6, I suppose, is the standard array. We've got the strength, dexterity, help me, Dom. Strength,
intelligence.
Yep.
Wisdom, yeah.
Constitution, charisma.
Yeah. Is that 6?
That's 6, yeah.
Yeah.
I've not played D&D in a while. It's all falling out my brain.
Yeah.
So that feels pretty good. I don't know. You could the sky's the limit with how many you should have. As long as it's easy and quick for people to know what is relevant, what is the right skill for everything. I'm a big fan of being as fast as possible in combat or anywhere where the dice are going to be rolling. So having, we've got this list of 100 things, to get through that at a table is going to be way slow, where most of the time it's just, can you roll good number on dice? That's really the question. Why are meta currencies awesome? I really like different ways of having abstraction between, like hit points as an abstraction is, it's not how many times you can get stabbed with swords or arrows to the knee. It's much more about your will to fight, your vigor, your ability to carry on. Having different meta currencies like hope and fear in Daggerheart, or all these different ways of showing how well your character's doing. I'm a big fan of that. I'm actually a bit of a mean person, bit of a mean game master sometimes for this, where in D&D I will attack the player character's attributes rather than just their hit points. So I think it's the ghosts or the ghouls, one of those that can actually like drain your strength score, and it's very fun to attack each of those individually because it then forces the players to play in a different way rather than going, oh, we fight, oh, we've taken a hit, I'm going to attack, taking a hit, just reducing your hit points. But saying, okay, your strength is now 2. What do now? And forcing the game to go in a potentially different direction. So that's my little pro tip. Try using the headline attributes from D&D as meta currencies as well. Your players will hate you. It's wonderful. It's so good. Richard says, should I emigrate to Scotland? Yes, but beware the midges. Lovely friend of the channel, Peter from Tales from Elsewhere, is asking, what is missing from the TTRPG sort of dungeon tuber space? I think that the big thing that I've seen that's just not really there is advice on how to roleplay. There is so much out there on, here's how to have a paladin with an armor class of 30 at level 5, you can be indestructible, but there's not so much on guidance on how to really be the characters, how to embody them. And I know that's not everyone's preferred style of TTRPG play. Often we just want to hit skeletons with swords and not worry about it. But there's so many more deep experiences you can have if you are connected with your character, if you are able to think, well, really, what would they do? What would someone who, I don't know, a paladin level 5 with 30 armor class, they've seen all their friends die because they couldn't protect them. What's it like to embody that person and to be like that? So something I'm hoping to do very, very soon is to start doing the Role Player's Guide to ... which could be things like the fighter, the paladin, the rogue, the monk, and also different species as well. What's it like to be an elf? You live for 1,000 years. The sad story of everyone who you've met and who you love who's another species. They're born, they lived, they've grown old, they died. What's it like to carry on? That survivor's guilt must be horrible. That's maybe why, I'm just getting distracted, but yeah, that's maybe why elves are so insular, because they don't want to form relationships with shorter lived people. And yeah, Role Player's Guide to ... coming very soon. The specifics of a one-on-one game with someone, I don't know if they're familiar with the hobby or not, or if they've got a sort of a deep experience, but Daggerheart can be very good for that. I ran a game, actually I did a Daggerheart duet game with my friend Henry, which was awesome. Daggerheart specifically gives you permission to sort of go a bit rogue, if you like. Because there's not so much on the character sheet to tie you down. If you want to decide, oh yeah, we're going to use tarot cards for this. If you're a game master who knows the system, if you're comfortable with the mechanics, then it's a case in a lot of parts of life that if you know the rules, then you can break them. Then you can break them sort of more confidently. If you have a player who is very, very keen to tell a particular kind of story, the mechanics can come last. So there's no one system that's guaranteed to help you tell the perfect story for this. I reckon if you've got the opportunity to play lots of little games in different systems and see which one kind of matches with your preferences. I'm looking around me here. There's games like Cairn and Pirate Borg and stuff like that. What else is over here? We've got Mothership, Kids on Bikes. So each of these systems, whether you choose to bring the setting with them or not, you might find that their mechanics are just what you need. In general, follow your fun first and don't feel constrained by a system, because once you've bought it, it is yours. You can do what you like. You can tear pages out. You can write your own things in. You can hack it to all little bits if you like. But yeah, have fun with it. It's yours. Which video am I most proud of and why? Also, hi, Age of Adventure, one of my oldest fans of the channel. You were here before I even decided to focus just on doing TTRPG stuff. So, absolute pleasure to have you asking a question, my friend. The videos, I think there's a few of them that I'm most proud of. And those are the ones which are answering some of the difficult questions around the table. So I did one fairly recently on how to have the talk with your players. And I've never really seen that kind of advice being made explicit to folks. There's the big advice you hear all the time of talk with your players. That's great, but how? And that video was a real sort of dive into exactly how to do that while not alienating your friends and leaving you alone forever. Another one I really enjoyed putting together, and again on a slightly difficult topic, was the one talking about prejudice and can we bring prejudice into our games and handle it well? In that case, the answer is yes. It's an absolute yes, but it's got to be done with sensitivity to the people around the table and thinking about just the real world as well. The two of those together I'm so proud of, and there are more kind of like that on that kind of table talk and that more personal advice coming very soon as well. How have my plans changed since starting the channel? Also, hi Scott.
Hey?
For those that don't know, I did a review of Scott's game called The Chaos, which is very, very cool. You should totally check that one out. How the plans have changed since I started, there's kind of been a few sort of evolutions. When I first decided I want to talk about TTRPGs on the internet, I thought, oh, I'll talk about everything. There's so many cool things. I'll talk about this and this, and I'll talk about every single part. Realizing that lots of areas of the game are very much covered and saturated when the talk of sort of mechanics and best character builds and stuff is very much something that people already do a lot of. And in terms of general GM advice, I realised there's quite a lot of stuff out there which is I'd have a really good idea for a video and then go, oh, this has been made by like the top 5 creators already. Awesome, cool. I'll try and find something different. And what that kind of led me to is to realise that there's a real gap when talking about the roleplay side of the game and how to improvise, how to be characters, and that's the direction I've sort of taken things more in the last year. So when there was an opportunity to maybe talk about, here's why armor class is a good thing or not, I've not really made that kind of video. Instead, I've been looking for how to run a no prep game and things like that, which is just different challenges and finding a space within a niche which isn't necessarily as covered by other people. The most challenging thing about YouTube magic and overcoming that is I don't understand why some videos go really well and some absolutely flop. I have a suspicion that there's a bit of just random number generation at work, but also I think I've not been as good as I could be of that whole titles and thumbnails game of getting people curious about my videos. Often I've done a video and just been like, hey, here's this cool thing I found. and that's maybe not been enough to pique people's interest. Whereas some of the ones that have done very well, especially actually that review for the Chaos, it's like making people curious about what's going on in this video. And that's, I don't think I've cracked the code with that yet, but I'm noticing recently I'm having a better hit rate of sort of converting videos, which I think I really like the premise and the topic that I'm talking about, but getting that seen more widely. And it's a dark art. It's way outside of my regular skill set, but by watching, reading, seeing what other people are doing, trying not to copy them, but to find my own sort of take on stuff, that's the stuff I'm getting better at. And the secret sauce, if you can crack that, I think, yeah, it's the key to getting bigger and better and more powerful, taking on the world. Fuck, marry, kill. Francine Fuscus, Sheriff Tumble, or Mairead McIver. Thank you, Ryan. Top friend. I reckon, if I had to, I reckon marrying Mairead McIver. She's a complex, interesting lady. I think Sheriff Tumble could be a tender, generous lover, making tumbleweeds morning, noon, and night. It's a profession. And kill that damn lesser blackback gull. Not a fan, not at all. Dom, what do you think?
I'm afraid of round, so I have no answer.
Coward. Absolute coward. You can't get the staff these days. Yeah. How does one who's never played D&D get started? You ask me nicely, and I'll run a game for you, Shubda. If you're not in Glasgow, everywhere in the world has something. It might not be a strong scene like we've got here, but there'll be groups around, and it's amazing what can happen when you ask. I know people ask at local Facebook groups or whatever where games are, and then suddenly they discover this whole universe that they didn't even know about. I've got a video coming out really soon, which is the beginner's guide to D&D, which isn't about the rules, as I've kind of realised that the sort of barriers that people have to sort of starting with the hobby, it's not necessarily, oh, I need to learn this book's closer, this big book of rules, or this one's actually slightly lighter, or this big book of rules. It's more about the social contract at the table. What do you do? How long's a session? What's with all the weird dice? And those kind of fundamentals. Do we take a break? Are we allowed to, do we have to speak in characters, do funny voices all the time? Those are the questions that people have, which from the outside, they'll see nerds sitting around a table, and they'll maybe have, like, I reckon, one of two sort of opinions. It'll be, oh, who are these weird little guys with sort of spreadsheets open and like figuring out lots of maths, and they're doing that for fun for some reason. Or they'll have the impression of these sort of theatre kids who are performing and acting and being all extra and dramatic. Neither of those are the right way to play. There's a whole spectrum of types of fun you can have with this, and when you're able to find a group, you can then realise, well, what do you prefer? Do you enjoy the very analytical, mathematical side, the sort of the tactical, hey, we're playing battle chess, basically? Or do you enjoy the roleplay, the character stuff, the story that we're telling along the way? So that video coming very soon is hopefully going to answer that quite succinctly. I'm looking forward to that. Also, I'll just run a game for you sometime. How did I get so confident playing in front of camera? I don't think I'm confident. Thank you. That's really kind. When I am speaking to camera, it's a very strange thing to just look down the lens and to pretend that's a person. It's not natural. It's a weird thing, just looking into the void and having to carry an entire conversation yourself. So it's very much a learned skill. I've done quite a lot of like online courses and stuff. I'll link a couple below, actually. There's a few I'd highly recommend, of just talking about how to speak to camera without it being weird. I think that's actually one of the names of the courses, actually. So there's a few of those which are just very, very good for getting over the initial weirdness. As for getting confident enough to run games on camera, my little dark secret is I don't know the rules of any of these systems quite as well as some people think. I'll run games all the time. I could, like, looking around me, I'd be up for running any of these games just now. And I think I know probably the core mechanics mostly, but the nuance of them, I don't. And I tend to rely on my players quite a lot, either to be rules lawyers for me or just to accept, oh, we're not sure, we'll look it up later. And having players who aren't looking to trip you out and say, well, actually, I think you'll find that because I got my bonus action to do this, it means I can do that. That is how my players sound. Trusting that your players want you to look good and allowing yourself to have the breathing room that you don't need to know all the rules. You don't even have to know your setting that well. It's, I suppose, the improv skills when it comes down to it, is trusting yourself that whatever happens, whatever shenanigan your players are plotting, whatever nonsense comes up, that you'll have something for it and you can handle it. And I really do credit getting into improv as the big thing that took my GMing from I felt comfortable doing it in front of my friends to, no, I can perform this. We can actually make this into something that other people would enjoy seeing. And my times at the table have been so fun as well as a result, because I'm sure that I've got this. I know that it'll be all right. My first experience of TTRPGs that wasn't D&D is actually those Choose Your Own Adventure books, right back in 1990 something, and you sort of look on the pages and like go, oh, turn to page 223. No, I'm not turning to that. No, I hadn't taken my finger off the old page. It's fine. I'm not dead. It's fine. So that's probably my very first encounter with your decisions shaping a story like that. I remember I always made sure I got the ones, because we got them from the library, always made sure I got the ones that didn't have a character sheet on them. You just made the choices, because the one was a character sheet at the back. These are library books. I wasn't going to write on that because I was a good boy. So I think that kind of introduction to having a story where your choices matter was that very first look into it. And then the first video I did on TTRPG stuff on this channel was actually called How I Missed 20-something years of TTRPGs. And it talks about that, and it talks about how I played lots of Warhammer and things as well. And D&D, TTRPGs as a hobby, completely passed me by for the longest time. I'm kind of sad about it, because I was very adjacent to it for ages and only really got into it properly in 2017 or so, long after I could have had years and years of adventures and shenanigans. Who is a hero for me? In TTRPG space, there's quite a few. I definitely credit the sort of the YouTubers who were making videos around the time that I got very into the hobby, probably in the start of lockdown. I watched a lot of TTRPG content. So definitely the guys from WebDM. People who have changed my thinking about games as well. So Mike Shea, Sly Flourish, Lazy Dungeon Master. He's got a million other titles, but he introduced, I first came across the idea of the secrets and clues method, where we separate out the information that the players need from a location or from a specific thing that they've got to do. They don't have to find the magical key behind the altar. They can have that information or the things they need to progress the story presented in 100 other ways. And I've had once where the thing that they needed literally just fell on their head from, I think it was a carrier pigeon or something. I decided, no, you guys have missed so many of my things, it's going to literally hit you. But it's a surefire way of just avoiding false starts and avoiding getting stuck in dead ends. Major inspirations for me. To be honest, this is the right moment to shout out to the Dungeon Tubers Dungeon Jam, which I've been a member of that lovely Discord group for the last year and a bit now. It's a whole load of Dungeon Tubers. We all talk to each other, by the way, and we share advice and just, yeah, we'll be on Hangouts and things, just hang out and chat to all these really cool people. Seeing what other people do, seeing that insane productivity from people, looking at you, Trek and Val, I see you working stupid long hours on incredibly detailed stuff. Seeing all these other creators making really cool things is such an inspiration. And I love as well, it never feels competitive. It never feels like, oh, this person's doing well, I'm doing badly. Oh, that really doesn't enter into it. It's just people trying to be supportive of each other and help folks along. And when things have gone badly for me, then it's been like, oh, none of these videos are doing well. It's been chatting with some of those folks, which has been incredible. And it's been great to be part of that and to be sort of a part of that lovely, lovely community. Will we be getting more rich music? Yeah, of course we will. So we've got an album coming out. We've got the Renegade Rolls Teenage Dreams and Big Machines campaign soundtrack OST, which I'm going to put onto Bandcamp sometime soon. We're working on some cover art just now for it. But I've been making music for ages, and up until doing YouTube stuff, I've not really had a good creative outlet for it. So being able to make like little backing tracks and little tunes and things to go behind my videos has been a really fun way of keeping my hand in with it. And when the actual play stuff came along, I was like, well, this needs a theme tune. Okay, we need character motifs. And suddenly I had, that was 7 tracks straight away. Then we need one for the enemies, we need one for this location. And so I think we've got 14 tracks on this little album here. And my plan is every campaign that I do going forward, it'd be very fun to write something for that and to make it into a whole audio visual experience for everyone. Because it's something I know, trying to get hold of like external audio, get hold of copyright free music is a nightmare. So I'm lucky I've got the skills and abilities to just write stuff myself and make it happen. Will we get more Scotland inspired videos? Oh yes, lots more. Next one on the list is going to be my review of a game called Pale Tides, which is about medieval witches. And that was very cool because it's not the cackling around a cauldron kind of thing. This is almost like an alternative history kind of one. So it's going to be quite gritty, grounded. We're going to do an actual play for that, and I've got a review video coming out for it as well. And in every single one of these, I like giving a bit more flavour to it. So I'll sort of talk about the historical comparisons and sort of the real world legacies of sort of this kind of thing. So that one's next on the list, but I'm sure there's going to be lots more. What's my favourite characters, personality types? Oh, goblins. Hey, goblins. I've discovered that doing goblin voices, especially with tables of new players, is a great way of breaking down barriers and like setting some of that social expectation. If I'm playing with new people and they're not quite sure what this is, doing a goblin voice is a great way of saying, hey, you can be silly here, you can be a weird little guy, and it's completely fine. So having something like that just on hand to be like, no, here's a shortcut to everyone around the table knowing we can let our guard down here, we can be a bit strange and it's fine, is a very, very powerful tool. The characters I like playing, or like archetypes and stuff, for a long time, I mostly played sort of like goody two-shoes characters. I'd be the clerics and paladins and stuff. Much more recently now, I love being the heel. I love being not even an arsehole, just the character who has their own stuff going on and isn't necessarily always working in the best interests of the party. This one only works if you are with a group who you sort of know and trust, and you're up for having these sort of tensions within the group. But I really enjoy playing someone who they can't quite trust. Will they just betray the group? Will they go off and do their own thing? Who knows? But they're really good in a fight. And when I'm GMing, I'm a big fan of, often my players will be big dramatic characters. So I've kind of got 2 approaches when I'm GMing for choosing NPCs for them. Either I can be very sort of straight-laced down the middle and just be, hey, we are competent people, and let the players be the funny ones in the scenes. Or I can see that energy and just match it and get weird myself. And so choosing to have a big emotion. A useful tip, one of the things I've learned from improv, is if you're stuck, just choose how to feel. And that could be mad, sad, glad, or afraid. That kind of works. And that's a quick way of getting yourself into a scene and just deciding, right, I'm reacting to this, I'm choosing to care, and we're going to have a big reaction to it. And when I do that, it can be very fun to see my players' reactions. They go, ooh, okay, they weren't expecting that. And always makes it good, always makes it fun. So I decided to start making videos initially as a way of getting better at public speaking. In my old job, I was doing a lot of like leading meetings and things, and a lot of stuff on Teams and all the rest of it. So deciding to just go, I'll try speaking to camera. That sounds easy. I bet I can do that. It turns out it's quite difficult, but making a series of videos to start with was like, oh, no, I can do this. And I quite enjoyed the process. what I then discovered was I actually enjoy this for the sake of it now. Last question. Here we go. It's Dom. Hello, friend.
Hello, friend.
God, that was ominous.
Yeah.
Love it. What's your question?
My question is, I want you to pitch in fact, it's more of a command. I want you to pitch to the camera right now the social good of tabletop role-playing games.
With pleasure. Here we go. So, TTRPGs let you walk a mile in someone else's shoes. They are empathy machines. We don't have enough empathy in the world. We're not thinking from each other's point of view, from each other's perspective. This is so crucial to everything which is going wrong in the world. The reason is billionaires don't have any empathy. Billionaires have never played a TTRPG. If you don't want to be a billionaire, play TTRPGs, because then you can spend all your money on so many books and things. More importantly, though, TTRPGs let people outside of themselves, at least for a little while. You're able to be a different character for the night. You're able to set aside your own worries. You're not having to think, well, what would I do here? What is this very personal thing? You think, well, what would someone else do here? And people don't play enough. There's not, in wider society, there's not very little free form play. Like if I say the floor is lava, I mean, I've lifted my feet. Have you lifted your feet off the ground? Just about, yeah. I'll do. Yeah. That's
Floor's not lava anymore, is it?
no, it's fine. Yeah, you're good. See? You're playing. And it's a sad world if there is no space for that. On an individual basis, I can safely say that for me, TTRPGs and discovering the hobby, the community, all the people within that have been life-changing. It's been wonderful to be a part of this world, to share a creative space, to share a creative world with so many awesome folks, especially Dom. And I am so excited to see what happens next. We'll be back for 4,000 subscribers. What's the next round number? What's a good one to go for? Maybe 5,000. 5,000? We'll do a thing.
5,000 subscribers. You heard it here.
You can make it happen. Only you can make it happen.
And only you can prevent forest fires.
Mm-hmm. That's quite a responsibility to give to people.
Well, listen.
I think they're up to it, though.
Yeah, they're up to it.
People who watch Renegade Rolls
Listen,
videos,
yeah.
best people.
Listen, Smokey the Bear had faith in people.
Can absolutely prevent forest fires. Yeah.
That's a future TTRPG character, Smokey the Bear.
Oh, that'd be great. Right. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.